I'm Ludo, founder and Chief Magician Officer, or CEO of Nucamp. And with me today, I have Zandra. Hey, Zandra.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
All right. So this is our monthly open house. Zandra and I have been doing it quite a while, but if you're new to it, welcome. This is how it works. We spend the first 30 minutes going through Nucamp, presenting you what it's about. And the last 30 minutes, we answer your questions. And so if you are on YouTube or if you are on Facebook, use the chat, ask your questions. We're gonna be seeing it here on our monitors, and then we'll get to it in 30 minutes. And to prove you that it's real, hello, Thomas McLemore. Welcome to the open house. And as I mentioned, type in your chat, type in your questions, and Zandra and I will get to it in about 30 minutes from now. All right, so let's get started. And I think I already did the intro, but Zandra, you want to say a few things about yourself?
Oh, hey, everybody. My name is Zandra. I love Star Trek and kittens, and I've been with Nucamp for a couple of years now, mainly helping out students who are trying to get started in web development.
And an advisor and instructor from Hawaii, and still in Hawaii. So if you're ever traveling or, how about doing a vacation in Hawaii and then taking your web development fundamentals bootcamp while you're there? Is that a good idea?
Ooh, yes.
Maybe, yeah.
You're on fire today, Ludo.
Yeah, all right, let's get going. You're right. So what is Nucamp? We are a different coding bootcamp. And if you've seen our website, if you've seen our price, you probably have realized that, well, something is different here. So it starts with a very strong social mission to make coding education available to everyone, meaning no boundaries in terms of where you live, no challenges or risks associated with the price of tuition, no wondering what kind of contract you're going to sign and if it's a good contract for you. And I'm thinking in particular about all the ISAs, income share agreements, contracts that are out there. I just realized I did not update that slide, and I did earlier. We are now the #1 coding bootcamp in the US. If you check us out on Course Report, we are #1 rated with more than 940 reviews right now. We are also the #1 rated on Career Karma from graduates. We are also the most affordable. And before COVID started, we also were in the most cities. Obviously, with COVID, everyone is online now. And Gandhi, I see your question. Can you turn on caption? I don't know that it's something on our end that we can do. Maybe that's something that YouTube can do for you. Let us know if that works. I think that's something that YouTube does kind of automatically or automatically. I don't know. Let me actually. Yeah, I don't see something like that on our end, Gandhi. So sorry for that. I hope you can actually fix it on your end. Okay, so how should you think about Nucamp with regard to all the other options that you have available? And if you're on this webcast, it's probably because you are doing your research and you're wondering, okay, which bootcamp should I sign up for? And so we have a very simple way for you to kind of evaluate where Nucamp fits in your list of possible coding bootcamps. You have the online bootcamps. And by that, I mean not all the in-person bootcamps that switched online because of COVID. I mean the online bootcamps like Udemy, Udacity, edX, Coursera, everything that really offers you very high quality content most of the time for a very, very, very affordable price. Like think $10, right? That's the $10 to $100 or less that you'll find on Udemy, for example. They often provide really great content from really interesting instructors. But here's the thing. It's a great thing. It's a great way to get started. Only 3% of anyone trying actually accomplish their goal. And the reason is it's very, very, very hard to stay committed to a 5 months, 6 months, 12-month time learning on your own with very little support, almost no support from other classmates, for example, from other instructors, or a rigorous, really, path and deadlines. So online bootcamps are fantastic to get started, very affordable. You have really the world's knowledge, I would say, in terms of coding at your fingertips. But chances are that's where you're going to start, but that's not where you're going to end, because you're going to find yourself after 6 months being like, okay, what have I really accomplished? And then you're going to really look into the other alternative. On the other end of the spectrum, you have the very traditional coding schools with a campus, with full-time instructors that require you most of the time to be full-time as well and spend 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. every day in a very immersive experience. And most of the time, it is worth it, meaning you're going to get really all the structure that you're seeking. You're going to get all the support that you're seeking. But here's the catch, because there's a catch. Uh, it's going to be difficult for you to make that call and make that decision because, well, first, you may not have such a school nearby. And so if you're, living like 2 hours away from one, well, it's going to be tough thinking about the commute and everything. Second is, to really benefit from that experience, you have to be full time. And so if you already have a job, you're going to have to contemplate quitting your job to go to school. And then, fingers crossed, it's going to work out for you. That's a huge risk. And then, of course, there's the matter of the price. And so those schools can go from $15,000, which is typical, I would say. And if you're taking an ISA, it could go to 30, 45. There's some ISAs that go beyond that. And so from a financial standpoint, it's also a roll of the dice, I will say. I will give you a word of caution. If you ever in a position to consider an ISA or consider a job guarantee type of contract, read everything. And I will say almost have a lawyer look at it with you because there's a ton of deception in that space. You can see tons of YouTube videos or observers of the industry saying that. So if you're ever considering a traditional bootcamp and you're considering an ISA or job guarantee type of things, make sure that you read all the fine print because otherwise chances are you're not going to get it. So where do we stand? Where is Nucamp? Well, we've looked at the best of both worlds. We've looked at the affordability of online bootcamp, the quality of online bootcamp, the flexibility of being able to just start and then pause and then start again. And then we've looked at the support and the immersiveness of traditional bootcamps and the structure that you get and the credential that you get at the end. And we've kind of brought those two together. And so think of Nucamp as really taking the best of those two worlds. It's a hybrid format. It's part-time, not full-time, so that you don't have to quit your job. We have a very strong structure on the weekly and over the weekends. You are placed into a classroom of 12 students maximum and one dedicated instructor so that you really have the level of support that you need. And then you're not rolling the dice. You're not taking a risk. The tuition is less than $2,000, and we'll talk about financing as well. But really, that's what we offer. It's really the best of both worlds combined in a way that's super accessible, affordable to you. And I'm seeing tons of questions here. Thank you so much, Chirag. We'll get to those questions in about 20 minutes now, so keep asking them. Thank you. So the history, we were founded in 2017. We've welcomed 9,000 unique use students so far. We've launched 2,000 bootcamps. Needless to say, we've been at it, and we've always been hybrid model of in-person and online. So we do that pretty well. And as I mentioned, we are now the number one coding bootcamp in the US. If you look at the number of ratings, the average rating in the top 10 on Course Report. So don't let the price or the tuition fool you. When someone says you get what you pay for, actually you get way more than you pay for, as you can see here. Uh, our path and our programs are very comprehensive. If you're a total beginner, you can start with the web development fundamentals, and Zandra will get into that. It's going to give you all the basis that you need for 4 weeks. Then you get into either front end or full stack, and then you'll end on our career development services once you graduate. And we'll go through that actually in this presentation. So 3 bootcamps. Um, as I mentioned, the very first one is for beginners. If you know nothing about coding, you can start there. Uh, and then you have to select either the front end or the full stack to then continue and really get the education that you need to qualify for a job in tech. We not only we have not do we have the most affordable tuition, but we've also launched a fair student agreement, which allows you to pay that tuition over a period of 12, 18 months with very low monthly payments. We allow you to defer your tuition as well to up to after the bootcamp has finished. And so here, what I'm showing you, for example, is if you want to take the whole thing, so web development fundamentals plus full stack, which is a 26 weeks experience, you can bundle that all together, and it's going to cost you only $2,600. That's the faster repayment that you see here on the screen. If you want to take the front end bootcamp, you can just pay $8 a month until graduation, for example, and that's another offer that we have here. So check it out. It's on. Let me do this. Hold on a sec. Boom. It's on nucamp.co/financing. That's where you'll see our all those financing options available to you and the details behind them. And by the way,
Good.
this is in direct response to the ISA, right? ISA, FSA. We believe that ISA income share agreements are predatory, like many are saying in the industry. It's a tool for education companies to pretty much double the price of their tuition, which we don't think is fair. I think we ought to do a better job at making education more affordable, not more expensive. And so that's really how we're doing it. The curriculum format is pretty simple and repeats itself. It's hold on, let me do this. There we go. So it is Sunday through Friday online at your own pace, so that it allows you to really be flexible. I mean, if you're working shifts and you need to learn during nighttime, you can do that during the week. And then on Saturday mornings from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. in your time zone, that's where we get live. You get live lectures from your instructor, and you're working on an assignment with your classmates. Throughout the week, you have tons of support. It's a very collaborative environment. We use Slack. You'll see a ton of students' reviews mentioning our Slack community, which is super helpful, very helpful and nice and encouraging. And so that's pretty much what happens. And it's a recent repeat. So every day, every week, you actually go through the same structure. What makes Nucamp really different, and that's also something our graduates are mentioning in their reviews. Like you'll see sometimes, hey, Davis was great, or Amy was fantastic, or Zandra really went above and beyond. It's really our community of instructors that are bringing this education to life. And what you should know about them is they're doing that really because they are passionate. We obviously compensate them for the service, but it's a side job for them. They're not full time with us, which is a great thing because they are full time being web developers and doing that on the side, not because they need more money most of the time, because, being a web developer pays enough. But they are doing that because they want to give back. They have a passion for teaching, they have a passion for helping others. And so you find those people, amazing people, teaching you and bringing a wealth of expertise and background with them. Some will come from, startup companies. Some will come from FANGs, the Amazon, Netflix of the likes. Some will work in Government. I mean, we have instructors who work for the DoD. Some will work in really traditional Fortune 500 companies or small medium business, or be a freelance. So they're going to bring all that background and very diversity of experiences to you as well as they are teaching you the technology skills. So something really significant here. All right, that was my part. Zandra, this is where you take over. I'll
Mhm.
leave it to you.
Thanks so much, Ludo. Welcome, everybody, as Ludo already said. Now, we'll get a little bit into the courses and what you're actually going to be learning. We'll get to the Q&A in a little bit. So JavaScript, if you're going to be a web developer, you're going to want to learn some JavaScript. It's pretty much the language that you're guaranteed to encounter no matter what language you start out on. It's the number one language in web development, and you're going to use it on the front end and the back end. And the average starting salary, that might be interesting for some of you. Um, Average across the country, and it's going to vary, is about 70K. Um, if you're starting out, it's going to be a little bit less than that, could be a little bit higher than that. Some of you, we have really varied students, and you have backgrounds and whole careers in other fields already. So you could command a larger salary or somewhere around there as well. We have a blog post. We have a great blog actually that goes back a few years. So it goes back pretty deep with some good topics. You might want to check that out at nucamp.co. And going through the curriculum, you're really going to get a good foundation in the web development fundamentals class that's going to help you with either the front end or the full stack course. You don't have to take both, they're pretty much the same, except for the last section on this slide with the arrow pointing to the node section. That's the real difference between front end and full stack, as many of you have asked me on the phone before. So if you are a complete beginner, welcome. We're glad to have you. You'll want to start with web development fundamentals. That's going to teach you the basics of 99%, 90%, I'm not quite sure. Most of the websites out there, HTML, CSS, and basic JavaScript. And I usually really super briefly for the total beginners to break it down for you. If a web page were a house, the HTML would be the frame, the concrete and the wood. The CSS would be the paint, the carpet, the drapes, the colors and textures. And the JavaScript would be like the piping, the water, the electricity, the heating and cooling, all that good stuff, the wiring that makes the page actually happen. And that's 4 weeks. And it'll be wrapping up with enough time for you to still get the discount pricing on the full stack, the next part of the course. So that will start you off on Bootstrap. Bootstrap is, it's really a godsend for those of us who muddle through CSS. Bootstrap will really help you to very quickly have a responsive website. And responsive just means, again, for the beginners with us, responsive means that your web page will react to the sizing of the display that it's shown on. So if it's on a little phone, it's going to shrink down to the size of the phone, and all the elements will become vertical. If it's on a big 4K TV, the site is going to expand, hopefully, to fill the TV width and height. And Bootstrap is kind of a shorthand that helps you do that. That's a few weeks, and you'll have a really nice project coming out of there. And web development with React is going to be the next part of the course. You'll have usually a week off between those two courses, kind of catch your breath a little bit, and then you'll start React. And React is a JavaScript framework that helps you build large websites. It really kind of makes its own page for the user, depending on the user's inputs. It kind of generates different views of and different pages of the content without the developer having to do anything behind the scenes. So it's one of it's the most popular framework pretty much today. So Nucamp is really preparing you with a really popular tool to put on your resume, and you'll have a really nice project coming out of that as well. For web development with mobile, you are going to be in the last part of your class, which is React Native. If you're going to join our full stack course, then this will be the penultimate. This is the second to the last part of the course, the home stretch. And React Native is a framework that helps you develop for mobile. So if you want to make an app and put it in the App Store or the Play Store or the Windows Store, or, there's so many little Android underground stores out there, you can totally make your own app. You can see in the Nucamp YouTube channel some students' projects and apps that they've already made. And it's based on React, and you'll be able to actually learn React and a little bit deeper when you go into React Native. Lastly, if you stay with us for the full stack course, you'll be learning Node. And Node is an engine, a JavaScript engine, kind of like what you're using in your browser. If you have Firefox or Chrome open right now, there's a JavaScript engine in there. Node is like take the engine out of the browser and throw it on the back end, almost. And you can really, it's really powerful. And you're also going to learn about databases, NoSQL with MongoDB, and kind of feed the information that your website visitors are going to need from the behind the scenes, kind of behind the curtain there parts of the website. So you'll really get a full stack kind of stamp of approval for your resume. That's pretty much covers the courses. And so just so you can get a taste of, as I mentioned, some of the projects, Ludo's going to show you some projects that we have hosted at YouTube that our students have made.
Yeah, no, my pleasure. So let me actually bring over this window here. So for those of you who are on YouTube, you may already know our channel. If you don't, it's this one. Look up Nucamp, and then subscribe to it, obviously, if you haven't already. You'll find a playlist, the student project playlist here, where we keep adding student projects. Whoa, and I wasn't expecting that level of volume. But, well,
I think that was
there
the
you go.
idea.
Let's go for it.
Hey there, classmates. This is Adam Diddy in Nashville, Tennessee. I'm excited to share my portfolio project with you.
So let me actually tell you a story since we just started on this video, and that's completely unrehearsed. We did a graduation. I think that was 2 months ago. We had so many people from Nashville. We ended the graduation on an improvised concert via Zoom. That was pretty cool. And I believe that gentleman, I can't, Adam, was actually participated in that that improvised concert at the end. But you'll see here there's a few projects. So some are using just React, like this one. Some are, using React Native, like Zandra mentioned. It's a mobile to-do list. But that one actually is pretty smart because what
Dina,
Dina did, she said, "Hey, how much time do I have? Like today, let's say I have 20 minutes." And so the app is going to look through all the to-do list and find the 3 ones that are going to match perfectly 20 minutes. And so it's a pretty interesting take on the to-do list concept. There's a few here. That one was also quite impressive. Oh, so impressive that Google has decided to play an ad on it. So that's actually great. Wow. So a student decided to mine all the data in the state of Washington that used to be public, now is not public anymore, and create a very simple app to know exactly where to go and how to book your vaccine appointment. and that was really amazing. And that student is actually talking right now to the Washington State people to see how fast they can roll out his app. So amazing. So I mean, there's a ton really interesting projects. This one, I love to show it. Someone who actually went above and beyond and used something called sockets.js on the backend to create a real-time chess game. And so I think at some point is showing.
Mhm.
There we go. So it's showing how. There you go. So there you go. That was pretty much it, Zendra. Back to you. But there's a ton of really creative projects that have been built by our graduates, and we hope, obviously, that we'll get to showcase yours pretty soon.
Yeah, awesome. So by now you are considering your options for joining, perhaps, and the boot camps are occurring every 5 weeks. So don't sweat it if you're not able to join us at the moment. But if you are ready to go, don't miss the early bird deadline for getting a discount. We kind of incentivize that early registration. So the next deadline is coming up May 10th for the fundamentals course. And if you're interested, definitely go to nucamp.co and get the ball rolling. Okay, and then we have some scholarships too. You can check out all the details at nucamp.co/scholarships. And it's really nice because the team has put a bullet by bullet, step by step, numbered steps on how to apply for the scholarships. So there's no opacity there. It's pretty simple how you sign up and then apply for the scholarship. I don't know if you wanted me to go into those details any there, Ludo.
I will probably actually go over those. And I think I saw a question regarding our career services if you live in the UK. And so I'll take that. I'll
Yeah,
take that moment to answer that question. I think it was from
Rajani Shirag.
Chirag. Yeah,
I
Chirag.
noted. I took note of that one too. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. So let's actually cover that slide and then answer your question, Chirag, at the same time. So once you
Mhm,
graduate, we have a plethora of career services to support you. Those
mhm,
six are the key ones. You're going to get one-on-one career advisor support. So the minute you graduate, you are assigned to a career advisor. And you can schedule 30 minutes conversations with that career advisor at your leisure on the topic that you choose. But typically, graduates will want to look at into their LinkedIn profile, their resume. Some will want actually to prep for interviews and things like that.
mhm,
Um, you are invited to participate in hackathons so that coding doesn't stop once you graduate. Actually, quite the opposite. You really have to get into continue, I would say, the habit of coding every day. And so
mhm,
our hackathons are going to allow you to do that, and you're going to also continue to build up your project portfolio. Um, we're offering you a 1 month membership for LinkedIn so that you can really kind of be at the top of the pile when you reach out to hiring managers. You have lifetime access to content and community. I'm turning around here because the last point will be what I'll make with Chirag. And then you're going to have access to a 6 weeks career development program that's really going to teach you all the fundamentals of looking for a job. And as you probably know, looking for a job is not just applying online to, pushing the buttons and applying online as many times as you can a day. No, it is about how you present yourself. It is about how you pitch what you're doing. It is about networking, and the importance of networking is significant. So we teach you all
mhm,
that as well. Now, the last one, the nationwide job board exclusive to alumni, we're very proud of that one. We reach out to companies in the US, and I will say, Chirag, that's probably where you won't find opportunities coming from us for the UK. But Chirag, you have access to everything else. So I will say 5 out of 6 career services are absolutely applicable for you in the UK. This
mhm,
job board, we are scouting the US, asking for companies if they have job and if they are interested in hiring directly from our graduates. And so we are being able to post to our graduates those opportunities that are very, I would say, highly relevant. And it, I mean, every time we post one, we have graduates jumping on it and they get a job, because obviously those companies have pretty much made the point that yes, we want to hire Nucamp graduates. So
Mhm.
that's it. That's for this one. And then I want
Yeah.
to talk about at the end of it, well, what happens? Obviously, we do all this because you want to change careers. And so we're going to actually do some announcement in that space, but you'll be the first to hear. We communicate, and we've continuously communicated our employment rate and graduation rate. We're going a step further now. We're actually updating that information at that data point daily. So these numbers here are from yesterday, May 5th, as you can see here. And as of May 5th, we had 550 surveys answered by our graduates, which says that 79% of them have a job and they are applying their coding skills. So they are really they have achieved exactly what they wanted to do, getting a job in tech. Now it could be a side gig, it could be a freelance job, it could be working for Fang, it could be working as in a Fortune 500, you name it. But they are employed and they are actually using their coding skills.
Mm.
The graduation
That's
rate is 74%. And you can see here that's 378 students out of 509 that enrolled over the past 2 months, 6 months ago, obviously. Uh, and and we really believe that's the right way of presenting you something that is authentic, that you can trust, that's updated daily, not from 2019, for example. And then if you go to our website, you'll actually see our last month results. And so that information will be available to you historically as well, so that you can track how well our graduates are doing month over month. So again, total transparency here. And you can say, so, I mean, we're still early in May, but the numbers are already slightly different in terms of
mm,
um, surveys received and number of graduates.
nice.
Last but not least, go to our website. We have a ton of really exciting stories around graduates. Let me actually put it up here. There we go. So if you go to our website, you're going to see a ton of stories, very inspiring stories from Emeke, from Mecca, Dan, Nick, Rachel, Tim, Lauren, Megan, Emily, you name. I mean, we add one more story every week. We have a new story of a student or graduate getting into their dream position. So check it out. And every week, if you actually give us your email, you'll get it in your inbox as well.
Mm, nice.
All right. Hey, Sandra, we've been pretty good going over the slides. And as promised, now is the time for us to answer your questions. And so let
Mhm.
me switch that off so that myself and Zendra can be full screen. There we go. And then let me show the chat overlay here. There we go. Oh, I love this. This is
Yeah, I
so fun.
wanted to actually circle back a tiny bit to
Yeah.
Chirag and just mention that if you schedule time after graduation with your career coach, you can before the meeting, send them a Slack message and say, "Hey, I just let you know I'm focusing on UK. If there's anything you could prepare before the meeting, if you have any knowledge at all, please keep that in mind." And then there's also a YouTube guy. I'm not endorsing any particular product or anything, but he has a channel. He's called Pragmatic Engineer. So you might want to check him out. He focuses on dev career stuff in Europe.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Great. Um, so let's pull this one from Lan Hillian 99. I'm trying to pay for a spot in July. I even went to change the disabled to enabled through the HTML. All my info is in the system. How can I get my spot held? So I'm not sure what you mean in terms of disabled to enabled, but how do you get your spot held? Well, right now it's pretty straightforward. You just simply register for it. So for the web development fundamentals, you can either pay the tuition, which is $349, or you can apply to a fair student agreement, which will take a little bit more time to get processed and accept and approved, but then it'll allow you also to register for that and the full stack bootcamp. And I think there was a question around that we'll touch on later on to explain the difference between 349 just for the web development fundamentals, and then the fair student agreement that's like goes up to $2,000. So we'll talk about that. Any additional
Okay.
question that you're saying, Zandra?
I saw one on the 13-minute mark from James and another one on the 13-minute mark from Keith.
There you
James,
go. Yeah.
instructor. And yeah, let me make sure I'm looking at the right one. Yep.
Yeah.
James, you can send a reply to any email that you got during the process to become an instructor, and the team will see it and just let them know that you'd like to reschedule. And thanks for joining. Thanks for considering joining us.
Yes, thank you. That's and I saw that you were actually very much active in coding in React and React Native. So we are looking very much for instructors like you. Let me answer this one from Keith. In terms of employment opportunities, would you suggest taking the full stack as opposed to front-end development course? So I looked into that recently. Actually, we had to do some paperwork or for a fair, an employment fair. And I looked at the different compensation between front-end and full stack. And it seems that actually they are very much on par. So it's not necessarily in terms of number of positions that are available, but in terms of the compensation that you can expect. A front-end developer, a great front-end developer, will bring different skills to the table than a full-stack developer. A front-end developer will really put an emphasis on UX, UI, on the quality of the design, or on the experience really provided to the end user. And will typically be very artistic, I will say, and will create great experiences. And will have at least a passion for that. A full stack developer will be able to do UI, UX, and create experiences. Chances are, without the level of artistry that the front end has. I'm myself more of a full stack person. I can create pages, but they're not going to look very good.
Bootstrap.
Yes.
Bootstrap. Yes.
But I'll be also able to touch and do something on the back end. And so that makes me also different and special. And so I would say go through the full stack, and once you're done with it, you'll know what you like and what you're the best at. And then you can decide how to label yourself. Are you more of a front-end developer, or are you more of a full stack developer? But at least you will have been exposed to both. And I think that's what you want to do during the bootcamp.
Okay. Well, I see Gandhi asked about face-to-face learning being better.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people feel the same way, so don't feel bad about that. We are online now because of COVID, and we're looking at ways that we can possibly get back to in person. So we are hearing you guys. It's a fluid situation, isn't it, Ludo?
Yeah, that's right. And when we started in 2017, the whole point was wanting to provide that in-person connection on Saturdays. Zandra had the chance to live through that, and we believe 100% that having in-person doesn't have to be full-time in person, but being able to actually meet with your classmates, with your instructor, makes a big difference. And so we're looking into the fall right now to be able to bring that back. And it's fluid. So we're building plans to get back to in person in the fall, but stay tuned. And I would say don't wait for it. Register now. If you feel like it's okay for you to be also online during that Saturday session, because that's very fluid. So nobody knows really what's going to happen. I mean, you hear all the news about new variants, and even people that are vaccinated apparently kind of get sick. And so that's kind of a weird situation that we are still in, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and don't be afraid, Gandhi, to try the 4-week class as
Yeah,
a trial run and see how it works for you being virtual on Saturdays.
yeah,
I
it's
see
great.
Priscilla. Yeah, thanks, James. We're glad you're with us. And Priscilla at the 16-minute mark
Yeah.
saying you got rotating weekends off and can't attend the live session every Saturday. Will the sessions be recorded? They are not recorded. And I think a lot of times people think that they're lectures, kind of like a college lecture or some other kind of class that you may have experienced in the past. But it's really a hands-on workshop. So it's kind of like saying you want to take a cooking course. Is the cooking course going to be recorded? Well, yeah, it might be recorded, but you need to put your hands in the dough and like smell the food and taste it and stuff. So even if it's recorded, it's not going to be as helpful to you, and it's going to be really long. Like, when was the last time you watched a 4-hour video of anything? So it's really not practical to record. What I can say is some people have found it helpful to schedule their course in another time zone. It
Mhm.
might or not help you, may or may not help if you're on East Coast or West Coast. You can start earlier or later. You just would have to be very careful when your instructor says, 8 p.m., that they mean, 5 p.m. or whatever. You'd have to do the mental math, and hopefully it will work out for you.
Yeah, let me pull one question from Brian here, and I'm preparing the slide that answers it. Hold on a sec. There we go. So, Brian, you've been asking about the distinction between, or the disparity, I would say, between 349, which is here for the 4 weeks bootcamp, and then boom, it jumps to 2600. So, the difference here is this is just for the 4 weeks bootcamp alone. This is for a bundle of the 4 weeks bootcamp and the 22 weeks bootcamp. We couldn't really offer a student loan on $349. That's just not practical. And so, in order to provide a student loan on the 4 weeks fundamentals, bootcamp fundamentals, we actually had to bundle it with the additional one. And oftentimes, people who start there, the 4 weeks, we do want to continue. So that really worked out. So that's the answer to your question, Brian. I hope it's helpful.
Mm. Well, we have another one from Keith, if we're going in order here at the 27-minute mark.
Yeah.
What individual would you say is well suited for your boot camp? I would say someone who really likes to learn. Like, do you uh, find yourself reading articles online about, whatever technical topic is interesting to you? Do you not just read the WebMD article when you got a weird bump on your toe or something? You like go and dig in the study and find out like how what the scientists came up with recently or something? Or do you watch a YouTube video and you learn how to fix part of your car and you go do it yourself? And you have to be pretty technical minded and good with, or at least leaning towards the tech side of things. What,
Yeah.
what would you add to that, Ludo?
Well,
Anything?
I think you probably want to spend 2 3 months learning on your own online and just check. I mean, do you like it? Is it something actually you want to pursue? Or you can just
Mhm.
start like you recommended earlier with the 4 weeks bootcamp, and you'll be like, okay, is that something for me? Do I really like it? Do I enjoy the process? And if you enjoy the process, well, that makes you suited for it.
Yeah.
Let me bring up, I think that's a follow up to the conversation we just had with Lan Hillian 99. So I got you now. I
Mhm.
understand what you're saying. Great that you passed all the tests. Um, so you're going to be able to save your spot when you are able to pay for it, pretty much. We don't save spots per se. Once you pay for it, then you're in. And you have time. So understanding that you can't pay for it now, look into our fair student agreement, which will decrease the amount you have to pay to register, and then push out the payments as well for the bootcamp. So think through that.
Nice.
All right. Oh, let me pull this one. Sorry, from Tifo. C++, Python, or Java taught. One of those three will be announced very soon. All right,
Good
Python
job.
will be announced very soon. Python will be announced very soon. So stay tuned for that. Give us your email. We'll send you an email when it's done. But yeah, we've been working on Python for quite a bit now. There you go.
Okay. And we've got Keith Q at the 34-minute mark
Yeah, gotcha.
about financing. Yes, we have the option for financing. So there's a few options, and we keep improving. I should say Ludo keeps improving because he's
No,
just a
no, it's a
machine.
royal we.
You're a
It's a royal we.
machine. Yeah, the role we're constantly improving the option. So we didn't always have the financing, but now it's there for you with our partner Climb Credit. So check it out at the website. Click on Apply via Climb at the course of your choice.
Yeah, let me put it up here. We have a slide on that. So the best
Oh,
deal
good.
is what we offer. That's really coming from Nucamp, and that's just a payment plan. So you don't pay any interest whatsoever, um, and you just pay on a monthly basis. And that's the best deal because it's going to cost you the less or the least. The additional options, faster repayment, most flexible, are actually student loans that we've created with our partner, Climb. And that's where you're going to pay a little bit more, but not that much, really. I mean, from 1480 to 715 here, maximum 1750. But then you're going to have more flexibility. Like as I mentioned earlier, you're gonna need just $100 to register, where you will need 370 if you were just using our payment plan. And then you're going to be able to space out your payments. Yeah, and the total cost is, I mean, $300 more, but it really offers much more flexibility, I will say.
Yep.
All right.
And I like Jaya Prakash from Canada. Yes, you can join this course. Just pick the right time zone
Yeah.
that matches the US time zones. Pick the right one that's closest to you. And
And I have to
anything else?
bring this
Mhm.
one, Chirag. Thank you so much. This is the foundation of our company. Nucamp is about transparency, honesty, uh, and it helps because we don't need to have you sign a 15,000 or 30,000 check,
Mhm.
and that's really because of that. The foundation of Nucamp is we don't need to chase you for a huge amount. We just need to be good at what we do and offer the best tuition we can. And that means we don't have to lie. There's no business reason for us to do it. So yeah, thank you for noticing. That's really, really
Yeah,
helpful for us.
I've had people on the phone who told me like, "Wow, your website has so much information." It's like the FAQ page is so long, compared to some other organizations. So yeah, we really put it all out there. I see at the 35-minute mark, there's Envu
Yeah,
talking about which course. So we did touch on this a little bit, but in case you just joined us, you want to start with the fundamentals, web development fundamentals, I think you suspected it there already. So if you're a beginner, you want to start with that 4-week course, and that will get you up to speed with the basics, and then you can move on to full stack.
great. Um, I'll bring up Edo. What are your requirements to enroll in full stack dev? We have a test. So there is a 25 questions test. And we ask that you pass it with an 85% or greater score. If you do not pass it with an 85% or greater score, you're not qualified to enroll in full stack. And you need to gain the skills to pass the test. Now, how do you gain those skills? Two ways. You can learn online. You can just learn HTML, CSS, and basics of JavaScript online, or you can enroll in a 4 weeks bootcamp to learn those skills and be ready for the full stack. Let me also bring up that question here from Joanne, the official account for Joanne, not to be mistaken with the unofficial account for Joanne. Um,
Mhm.
when is your next registration? So the next registration the next start date is May 24th for our 4 weeks bootcamp. And you will want to register early so that you have access to that early bird price, because after May 10th, that price goes up to $399. So that's the next date. Then you have front end and full stack that are starting on May 31st. And Zendra mentioned it earlier, but then it's every 5 weeks. So if you miss that cycle, you can always register for the next one. And I think we had someone talking about registering for July at this time. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Cool. So I see here from, I'm not sure, Chris, we kind of touched on that at the 36-minute mark. And Chris Odom. And you don't have to complete the other two packages, as you said, the other two boot camps. You would just start with the fundamentals and then pick either or. Pick the front end or the full stack. And
Gotcha.
yes, you can have experience, zero experience, and still succeed. Try it out with the fundamentals. And well, first, try just watching some YouTube videos. Just type in what is HTML into YouTube and get yourself started. Try something free or very low cost online that Ludo mentioned and see if you like it. And then you can join us.
Yeah. Very interesting question from Anne. We don't have the answer, but I found the question. Students who came from other boot camps did not finish, but success at their second try on Nucamp. So we do ask a question to students that are enrolled. Have you tried online learning and did not complete? And I don't know if we asked, have you tried other coding bootcamps and did not complete? Well, sorry, we don't have that answer. If you're one of them and you're joining, we'd love to know if you're, and we'll do our best to make you
Yeah.
succeed. And then real quick, so I think it's a kind of a thread with Lan Hai Lian. So pretty much you're saying you want to pay, but you can't. Here's one thing I've noticed. Sometimes people get stuck. They forget to put the zip code on the credit card. But if nothing works, please send an email to info@nucamp.co with a screenshot. Send us a screenshot of what's going on. It should work. I mean, we've had tons of students registering, so we'll look into what it may not work for you.
Mm-hmm.
Again, let me actually maybe put that. Where is it? Oh no. Okay, hold on. Let me do something real quick. Nucamp email.
Yeah, I put my email in there, but maybe
Okay, gotcha.
you didn't notice it yet.
Yeah, there we go. You can email us info@nucamp.co. Add a screenshot of the error if you can. That'll be helpful. Okay.
Yep.
What else are you
And
seeing?
Guernante Charles, yes, you can do, no, you cannot do the full stack web without experience. I mean, you can, but you wouldn't have a very good time. So
Yeah.
you want to know basics of JavaScript before you start full stack. For loops, if statements, basic DOM manipulation. But that's what we teach you in the fundamentals course. So try out the 4-week fundamentals course.
Right. And so there's how am I going to pronounce this? Okay. Jaya Prakash.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't too bad. You can join this course from Canada. Pick the right time zone. Great that you're eligible for FSA. When you think about services, I was going to say career services, and I'm going to go back to the answer we gave for Chirag, I think, who was from UK. You're going to be able to benefit from 5 out of 6 of those career services. One that we don't have implemented yet in Canada is the job board. We're only seeking out US companies right now. So maybe if you can actually just rewind and look at what we told Chirag from the UK, that's going to be the same for Canada.
And Chandel Smith at the 40-minute mark, i5 processor be sufficient? It will be sufficient, but if you can afford to invest in an i7, that'll be more sufficient. I always tell students, if you're shopping for a computer, go with the most that you can afford comfortably. Don't go all out and put yourself in, financial trouble. But if you already have an i5 and that could, buying a new laptop could be an obstacle for you, just go with the I-5, and that will take care of you. And we have all that at our FAQ at our website, the exact details that you will need.
That's right. So 2 questions here. No meetings on Saturdays. Yes,
Mhm.
they are now online. Um, they were in person, but they are now online with COVID. Let me ask also. Sorry, I'm going back in time, but what will the Saturday meetup look like? So, first hour is a lecture delivered by your instructor. It's a kind of it's a lecture. It's more of a recap of what you've learned that week. So it's not new content. It's going back to what you've learned that week and kind of highlighting the key points that are going to help you for the assignment that you're going to work on. And you're going to work on that assignment for 3 hours. So this is where peer programming happens. This is where we place you in breakout rooms, your working group, and you have an assignment that is more challenging than what happened during the week. So it's kind of what you did during the week with the twist. You don't get the answer. You have to be creative. You have to come up with the right answer yourself. And it's pretty exciting and challenging. So that's very much what
Mhm.
happens on Saturdays. It's one
Yeah.
of our projects, you can say.
Mhm.
And just and I need to show this one for Emmanuel. Thank you so much. Um, It's always fun to see current students and sometimes instructors joining this open house and kind of chiming in. So thank you, Emmanuel. Good luck with your web development fundamentals and hope to see you in full stack.
Cool beans. Excellent. So, James, glad to see that you were able to get that squared away. And let's see what else we got here.
Yeah, and as always, there's more questions than we have time. So
Yeah,
let's see. Oh, there's a
super quick.
ongoing story. So Lan was trying to pay for it now at 45, like 10 minutes ago. Uh, let's see. Did he succeed in registering? It doesn't look like it.
It's a oh, Lion, keep trying and send us an email. Isabella, that's okay. You're joining late. It's all recorded here for you.
Yeah,
And
you can actually go back if you on YouTube. You can just scroll it back and you'll start at the beginning. All right, Mike.
Michael Manganan, we kind of touched on the computer
Yeah,
specs. They are listed at our frequently asked questions page at nucamp.co. So just scroll down the page to computer specifications. You want to have an i5 or better. You want to have a solid state drive, SSD, not HDD, and it's going to be faster. And you want to have at least 8 GB of RAM. Is that still the recommendation, Ludo?
yeah, absolutely. SSD hard
Okay.
drive. You said right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Question from Anes. How soon will the bootcamp be available, and will I need to take the web development course to prep for that? So I can't comment just yet on when it's going to be available. You'll know more. So send us your email. You'll know more pretty soon. But what I can tell you is there will not be prerequisites for it. I mean, beyond you need to know how to use a computer. It's going to be a pretty fundamental Python type of thing. Um, so yeah, you'll get more details very soon.
Mhm.
Quick answer: we were founded in 2017.
Nice. Let's see. Requirements from Andy Vu for joining the fundamentals course. You want to know how to use your operating system. You want to be pretty comfortable using your OS. It's not going to be a computer course. It is assuming you already know very well how to use your computer. If you're the kind of person who downloads something and then you can't find where you downloaded it to, or you don't know how to unzip a file or zip a file, you would want to learn those before you sign up for fundamentals.
Yeah, and this question regarding our career services, so we've actually answered it quite a bit, but let me actually pull then the link. Just go there, you'll find all 6 career services that we offer and more. So check it out. Um,
Hala
all
at
right.
54. What does new camp mean? Just curious. The
Oh,
54-minute
54.
mark.
Yeah, let me 54.
Let's see here.
Oh yeah.
Good
What
question.
does Nucamp? Do you know?
It's a new camp.
It's a new camp. It's a new camp.
We're
Yeah, it's
we're
not that
breaking
fancy,
new
right?
ground in
Yeah.
new territory, never before.
New boot camp, new kind of boot camp, new.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's pretty much.
that's
Yeah,
what I took it to mean.
yeah, that's what it is.
Awesome.
um,
Good question.
all right. Okay, good important question here. Are classes during the week recorded videos or live? The classes during the week are recorded videos, and there's a good reason for that. People that are joining our bootcamp most likely already have a job. Our bootcamp is part time. And what we know for certain is whenever you schedule something live during the week, you know you're gonna have half of your class miss out on those because there's no real good schedule for everyone and that works for everyone. So we want it to be as flexible as possible during the week. And then we made a bet that most likely students will be available on Saturday mornings for a live engagement and in-person engagement when we were able to do that. So that's how it works. All right. Hey, we actually, I know, Zandra, you had a hard stop. So amazing. I think we went through most of the questions. I want to thank everyone joining us today. Thank you, Zandra, as well, for joining us from Hawaii. It's been a pleasure. You can watch this video again, or we have another one actually scheduled next week if you want to continue to ask your questions. It was great talking to all of you and answering your questions.